The two hottest teams in the NWSL square off tonight as the Western New York Flash play host to the Seattle Reign. Western New York Flash soccer is coming up next. Good evening, soccer fans. Welcome to Sahlen Stadium tonight. It's the 4-4-1 Western New York Flash taking on the 5-2-2 Seattle Reign. I'm Joe Giuliano along with Mike Kerms for the second of three meetings this season between Western New York and Seattle. The Flash opened the season on April the 12th in Seattle. It was a 5-1 victory for the Reign, and the Flash have a chance to redeem themselves tonight, but always a tough matchup when these two teams meet. And there's so many players, Mike, that you can choose to profile for both sides. You know, we were going through Fishlock and Little. Rapinoe's not here, but you chose someone else for Seattle.
Well, don't forget about Kim Little. I mean, player of the month, and with the Seattle Reign unbeaten in the last 6 games, the biggest part of that, one of the biggest parts of that is Kim Little. But you can't forget about Beverly Yanez, formerly Beverly Goebel. She played here for the Western New York Flash back in 2011. Then she took her talents overseas, and now she's with the Seattle Reign, and she's flourishing here in the NWSL. And Yanez has, in 9 games, has 5 goals. She leads this team even above Kim Little, and she's the only player last year. She played every single minute. The thing about Beverly is she gets into the box. She leads the team in shots, and she's very mobile. She's very active. So she went from a role player with the Western New York Flash to she plays a critical role for Seattle.
Good profile there on number 17, Beverly Yanez. For the Western New York Flash, a lot of good choices there. Who do we focus on tonight?
Well, we go from Beverly Yanez, who is a well-experienced player in the leagues, to Samantha Mewis. She's a rookie. She was the number 4 overall pick, 22 years old, out of UCLA. She's played every single minute this year for Aaron Lyons in the Western New York Flash. She plays in the center of the park, and you're going to see how much she gets into the box. And her height is tremendous. She's dangerous on crosses. She's dangerous on corner kicks. She's dangerous all over the field. She's got 3 goals and 1 assist this year for the Western New York Flash. And she's been a big, big pickup for Aaron Lyons in the Western New York Flash.
A great profile choice, Samantha Mewis, number 5 for the Western New York Flash. By the way, the Flash are getting great production from the rookies this season. 12 goals scored, 8 of them by the rookies for Aaron Lyons' side. So stick around. Kickoff is coming up next. It's the Western New York Flash and the Seattle Reign right here on the Western New York Flash Broadcast Network.
Great Taste has landed. Sahlen's great tasting hot dogs and deli meats now available across New York State.
A splendid way to kick off your Independence Day weekend with some NWSL soccer. We are at Sahlen Stadium. I'm Joe Giuliano along with Mike Kerms, our color commentator for the Western New York Flash at 4-4-1, playing host to the 5-2-2 Seattle Reign FC. Second of 3 meetings this season between the two clubs. As we look at your starting lineups, first for the visitors from Seattle, it'll be Kottmeyer in goal. In the back, it's Corsi, Fletcher, Cox, and Barnes. In the midfield, Winters, Little, Fishlock, and Bullock. And Yanez and Foxhoven up top for Laura Harvey's Seattle Reign. For the Western New York Flash, it'll be Jones in goal, Eddie, Taylor, Dahlkemper, and Edwards in the back, Nick, Hinkle, Mewis, Spencer, Frisbee in the midfield, and Lynn Williams up top for Aaron Lyons' Western New York Flash side. The referee is Greg Dopka. Assistant referee is Nick Urenga and Steve Montanino. Fourth official, Lauren Dearman. Flash in the all red, while Seattle coming in the neon green with the purple shorts and purple socks. It'll be a kickoff for the Flash. They'll be attacking from right to left. Mike, welcome to the broadcast. And the Flash, a point to prove. April 12th, they got hammered in Seattle 5-1.
This is a much different team than Seattle saw in Seattle at the beginning of the season. This team has started to gel. They've won 3 in their last 4 matches, And you've got the two hottest teams in the league going up against each other right now.
Western New York with a throw-in on the far side, looking for Spencer. Seattle takes possession back, but not for long as it's pounded back into the Seattle penalty box where Kottmeyer, the 25-year-old, will take possession outside to Barnes. Beautiful night, 72 degrees, clear skies, and gorgeous evening.
Perfect soccer weather. Last match Seattle played against Kansas City, they had to have stoppages pretty much halfway through both halves so both teams can get water, which you do not see normally. It was just so hot in Seattle. Kansas City and Seattle had a 2-1 match there, and again, goals from Beverly Yanez, our highlighted player of the match today, and this Seattle team is hot, unbeaten in 6 games.
Intercepted middle of the park, and Nick will again push it down into the Seattle half, where Kottmeyer, who's got 4 wins, leading the USL, plays it out to Barnes, the 26-year-old. She'll take a few touches forward. Bullock gets it back to Barnes. Now Yanez, who Mike featured at the Open with it, off to a very good start this season.
Great start. 5 goals in 9 games. And if you recall, when she played here for the Western New York Flash, she was a role player at times, and then she filled in where Aaron Lyons needed her, and she played in the center of the park, and she was a great player. You saw that eventually with a lot more teams, a lot more training, she was going to flourish. And sure enough, she went overseas to Japan, and she did. She came back here, and she's been with Seattle for the last season and this season, and she's playing incredible.
Fletcher on that far side, or it's Cox, I'm sorry, rolls out of play, and a throw-in coming up for Elizabeth Eddy, who's really showing some versatility. Kind of a different spot than we've seen her at the home games before.
Scoring a goal in the last match up top when she came in off for the injured Jemiah Fields, and it's great to have players like that you could fill in. You have Edmonds goes down, okay, let's put, who are we going to put there? We're going to put Eddy there, and she's very versatile, and that's an asset for any coach.
Eddy playing on the outside of defense as Edmonds went down with an ankle injury in training, and you get through a almost full session, and the timing could not have been worse.
The last 30 seconds of the session, and she just rolled it, and you see that she's in a boot tonight on the bench.
We wish her a speedy recovery. She's got 1 assist in 8 games played. As Mewis to Williams, taken away by Foxhoven. She'll take a couple touches forward.
And she's a huge loss, really. I mean, Edmonds, she's just up and down that line, and she's solid on defense. She gets forward quickly.
Good soccer here from Seattle, and the buildup is destroyed there by Dahlkemper, but good patience to get it outside to that flank.
This Seattle team, if you look at both teams on paper, you would almost say that, how can this Western New York Flash team compete against the Seattle team? Seattle's missing Megan Rapinoe and Hope Solo, and the Western New York Flash are missing Sydney LaRue and Whitney Engen, both a defensive player and an attack player. But really, without those 2 players on both teams, you look at these 2 teams, and I say Seattle's got the edge, but really Western New York Flash has done some tremendous stuff competing against the best in the league, and they're going to give this Seattle Reign team a matchup.
This one knocked off the leg of Foxhoven. The Flash will pick up a throw-in with Eddy on the far side. We're in the 5th minute and scoreless. These 2 teams will go at it once again on Saturday, July the 11th at the Moda pitch at Memorial Stadium in Seattle. That'll be the 3rd and final meeting of the regular season. Headed away to Winters. Now the Flash trying to get possession back, middle of the field, it's Nick. Soft touch, doesn't get to its target. Seattle coming on the counter. Looking for Little into the 18, but Hinkle sprinting back and giving Chantel Jones a chance to win that ball.
And Nick is lucky. That's a bad giveaway there in the center of the park to Foxhoven. And when you've got Little, Fishlock, Yanez, and Foxhoven up top, you can't give that ball away in the middle third. Most times, a team like Seattle will capitalize.
And Little having another outstanding season, 3 goals, 4 assists on the year so far. She's played in 9 games, and she's also the NWSL Player of the Month, an award she picked up 3 times last season en route to the MVP award. There's Barnes with some space.
You'd think she'd be the player that we'd highlight, but there are other players on this team that just make this team so tremendous, and it makes Kim Little that much better. But you can see right here the mobility that she has. She just shows all over the place. And really, if you look at Seattle, they're playing in a 4-2-3-1. 3 across that midfield with Little, Fishlock, and Yanez. And really, they do not play left, center, or right. They are constantly mobile. You see them in all 3 positions. Helping Foxhoven. They'll be helping Foxhoven get into the attack the entire time. And what's even more special about this team is you'll see Fletcher and Cox getting into the attack. So you've got your 2 outside backs constantly getting forward, and they have a dangerous, dangerous attack.
Barnes wins the head over Williams, but Nick will come up with it now. Ashley Nick, the 27-year-old, was traded for defender Tony Presley, coming over from Houston. As Foxhoven takes possession back. Here's Fletcher. Looking for Little, but Mewis breaks it up. Turns. Approaching midfield, still Mewis. Cuts inside. Good run here, outside to Williams now. Takes a touch. Still Williams. Marked by Corsi. A low cross, and the Flash will pick up first corner kick of the game. In the 8th minute, we are still scoreless between Western New York and Seattle.
And you could see right there why Samantha Mewis is so dangerous. She does a 1-2 in her defensive third. All of a sudden, it turns into a counterattack with Williams making that diagonal run into the corner and Mewis hoping for that ball. And then Mewis got herself right into the 18-yard box.
Near side corner kick. Edwards. The delivery into the mix. The header. And cleared away by Little. Picked up. Low driven shot through the crowd by Hinkle. But off the mark in the 8th minute. Good opportunity on that corner kick for the Flash.
Yeah, Joe, I don't know if you saw that. Jasmine Spencer, probably the smallest player on the field. Just tremendous height. And you could see as this ball comes in, if you watch Jasmine Spencer right in the center there, just tremendous height. And you can see how she lifts herself up even higher when she's up there. That's a strong core in that little body right there.
Nick pressured, quick touch outside, intercepted by Fishlock in the 9th minute. Still Fishlock. Winters into the box. Yanez applying pressure and forcing Hinkle to clear it over the near sideline.
And that's another bad giveaway by Nick. She's got to get into this game and start really getting herself. She's playing in that defensive midfield role, and she's got to be doing much, much better with the ball when she gets it.
And a good win there from Nick, taking it off of Little's foot. Sent forward now. Spencer turning on the Jets. She's got the speedster Williams to her left. It's still Spencer. Puts it in the middle. Through the box. Frisbee will let this one roll out of play. It should be a corner kick, and it is. Second one of the game coming up for Western New York.
And Western New York looks like they're in their typical 4-3-3 when they're in an attack. You saw the 3 forwards going into the attack there. And you can see right here the ball gets a quick counterattack. You see Jasmine Spencer bringing that ball up on the right-hand side. And just you see 3 forwards right there in the attack.
Another dangerous delivery. Headed. Bullock gets the last piece of it. Little keeps it in play on the far side. Pressured by Taylor. Flash have it. Into the box. Header right at the hands of Kopmeyer.
Nice patience by Brittany Taylor there. Chasing Little to the outside, and you don't see that Kim Little giving the ball up in the defensive third a lot, but Brittany Taylor, very patient. At times we would see Brittany Taylor cause a foul there, but her experience right here, as that ball goes to the outside, you can see Brittany Taylor utilizing her experience, not fouling while you got a player under pressure, stealing it there by Kim Little. And then what a great cross. And unfortunate that that was Dahlkemper that couldn't put that ball in the back of the net.
Williams finds Frisbee. Flash coming onto the near side. Now back down the middle and picked up by Barnes. Sends it forward to Winters, working through the center circle. Outside to Fishlock,
And
the
if you're
Welsh international.
Yeah, if you're Laura Harvey, you want the Seattle team to start settling the ball, take the air out of it a little bit, and start knocking around the pitch. They're a very possession-oriented team. They like to keep possession and utilize all their players. You'll watch a game sometimes with the Seattle team, and they'll knock the ball 7 to 8 times, get that ball into the 18, and get a goal.
Seattle 1-2-1 away from home, 4-0-1 at Memorial Stadium's Moda pitch.
Unbeaten in 18 games at home, 13-0-5. Tough place to go into.
They're really no strangers to streaks. They had a 16-game unbeaten streak last season, 13-0-3. Best defense in the NWSL, only 20 goals against. As going down was Foxhoven, the 25-year-old.
You think about this team before Megan Rapinoe got to it 2 years ago. They were a struggling team in the bottom. They were in the bottom of the table, and then slowly built themselves out of it. Couldn't build themselves out of it once Rapinoe got here.
If I'm not mistaken,
France.
yeah, she came from France and played her first game here, didn't she?
Correct.
And you and I had talked about this team is going to do something pretty special.
They sure did, and they did do something special in that season. Couldn't get themselves out of that hole that they built themselves. I believe they were 0-9-1 at the time, and they got themselves somewhere in the middle to the bottom of the table. And then the next season, you got a team that competes every single year.
Lost in the 2014 championship, 2-1 against FC Kansas City. Bullock gets dumped by Nick. And speaking of Rapinoe, she had a hat trick in that 5-1 win on April the 12th. Again, as Mike mentioned, not here tonight. Getting ready for the Women's World Cup final, a rematch, USA against Japan. Here's Little on the restart. Looking for some movement off the ball. 2 in the wall for the Flash. Far side of the 18. Headed down. Shot is blocked. Loose ball. Jones pounces on it at the 6. She'll slow things down in the 14th minute. Western New York and Seattle are scoreless.
Chantel Jones getting a shutout in their last game, 2-0 on the road. It's Western New York Flash's first win on the road this season, and it comes in a shutout, 2-0.
First one for Jones as a member of the Flash. Williams, Mewis. Spencer's outside, but Barnes anticipates it, breaks it up. It was Cox to Winters. Winters not afraid to dribble with it. That time it's intercepted by Eddy. She'll put one towards the 18. Frisbee gets the head on it. The little poke gets up and over the net as Frisbee was pressured by Corsi, and they both go down after an awkward collision in the 15th minute.
And if you look right here, nice little ball there by Eddy, and Barnes is just waiting for the ball. I'm sorry, that was Fletcher waiting for the ball to come to her. Very surprised as Frisbee shot in and won that from Barnes and almost got herself a goal right before that collision.
Corsi is up and just over the end line. It's Frisbee in her third appearance of the season with the Flash, who is still down. Looks like it's her right ankle they're looking at. And she'll get help to her feet. And a nice round of applause from the fans here at Sahlen Stadium in the 16th minute now. Frisbee and Corsi colliding. And both will have to come off the field. As Fletcher now at the sideline getting some Guidance from Laura Harvey, the 35-year-old, former head coach of Arsenal from 2010 to 2012.
I'm pretty sure one of the things she's telling her as the ball's coming into the 18, you can't wait for it to come to you. You have to go to it. There's always going to be somebody coming. And Fletcher was just standing there at the top of the 18 waiting for that ball to come to her after it bounced.
Good win out of the air by Nick. Williams pressuring Winters. Corsi back on the field. Sends it forward to Yanez, formerly Goebel. And she is tripped up. It'll be a free kick quickly taken by Bullock. Little gets it from Fishlock. Cox back to Little. Yanez. Quick touch. Trying to make it to the foot of Fletcher, doesn't get there.
And that's the game that Seattle likes to play, and the Western New York Flash aren't allowing them to play the game. We said that the Western New York Flash should get themselves into a 4-3-3 on the attack, but when they're in the defensive posture, they're getting themselves into a 4-5-1 with Frisbee and Spencer pinching in just a little bit, clogging up that midfield. And that's the area that they got to win with the 5 midfielders of the Seattle Reign.
Spencer, shot is blocked. Fishlock, little touch forward for Little. 17 goals last season for Kim Little, the Scottish international. A key target once Laura Harvey left Arsenal. Kim Little became her top transfer choice to come over to Seattle, and boy, has that paid dividends. Last touch by the Flash. It'll be throw-in on the far side. Western New York with Williams and Eddy scoring last week in Boston, a 2-0 win. Both those goals coming in the first half, and Flash yet to lose a game this season when they have the lead. They're 4-0 in those situations. See if they can get another early one against Seattle tonight. Outside, kept in play by Cox. Looking to serve Fishlock. Knocked away. Sent forward for Williams. Lynn Williams, 2 goals, 3 assists on the season. Mewis, one of those dangerous runs into the 18. The cross blocked by Barnes. Kept in play by Mewis, and not sure if she would have won a corner kick there if she let it go out of play.
No, you saw when Barnes, great defense by Barnes, by the way. But as she slid tackle, you saw it hit off Mewis right after that play, and it was going out of bounds. Otherwise, she would not have tried to save that for the corner kick. I was pretty sure it hit off Mewis afterwards.
Throw in here for Seattle.
And that first goal, as you mentioned, is going to be pivotal because Seattle also 4-1-1 on the season when they score first. So it'll be interesting to see who scores first tonight and if they can maintain that lead throughout.
Flash have had a few chances here early on, a couple good looks. Seattle with possession now, middle of the field, forward for Little. Taylor steps in there to knock it out of play. Brittany Taylor's 10th appearance of the season. The heart and soul of that defensive line. Spencer tried to poke it forward, gets it to Williams. Back. Now Frisbee. Outside to Williams, the one-time cross, nobody on the end of it for Western New York.
Nice little combination there between the 3 forwards. But at that point, there's no one in the box. And sometimes as a player, you just want to get that ball in the box because you know getting the ball in the box, a lot of things can happen. But you got to be patient at times when you see that the other 2 forwards were involved in that combination play. And Spencer's just trying to get herself in there. There was nobody in there for the Western New York Flash.
Good anticipation. Hinkle breaks it up. Corner of the 18. Swiped away there by Fletcher, and another dangerous corner kick coming up here for Western New York. And we'll see if Mewis can get on the end of one of these. She has been a handful on these restarts.
Well, we've seen Spencer score on corner kicks, and we see Dahlkemper win balls and Taylor win head balls on those corner kicks as well.
21st minute. Third corner kick for the Flash. Sent out top of the 18. Hinkle, low cross. Yanez gets her foot on it. Hinkle picks it up again in her shot. No trouble there for the 25-year-old. Haley Koppmeyer. Two shutouts on the season at 4-0-2.
A little different look there by the Western New York Flash, rather than just what you'd call lumping it into the corner, lumping it into the box on corner kicks. Play somewhat of a short corner to Hinkle, and she's got to do better with that cross. You know, you change it up a little bit. The cross is coming from the outside now, allows your players to come in and shoot in from that far side, and gives the goalie a different look.
And that low goal kick, won back by the Flash. They come right back at the Seattle defense. Frisbee's cross. The header. Good diving save by Koppmeyer to push it around that post. And cleared away by the Seattle defense.
Great cross there by Amanda Frisbee, and Becky Edwards getting herself into the 18 and putting that ball in the lower corner. What a save by Koppmeyer. And this is great speed by Frisbee. Very impressed by her today. And Becky Edwards getting up above her defender. Great, great save by Koppmeyer. Wow, that's your backup behind Hope Solo. You got to feel pretty good about that.
Great job all around there. Flash and Seattle on that last play. Here's Spencer. Western New York looking for that first goal. Spencer, low-driven cross. Blocked there and kept in play. Frisbee. The no-look pass is taken away by Yanez. Here's Little. Cuts it back to Yanez. Little to Barnes. Now they'll come to the near side. Corsi.
And this inexperienced Western New York Flash team has taken it to Seattle, where you almost see the fight and the grit and the Western New York Flash, they're taking it to them. A very experienced Seattle team.
In the open, we talked about the impact that the rookies have had for Aaron Lyons' side. 8 of the 12 Flash goals coming from rookie players. And they have definitely made their mark here in 2015. A great draft group put together by Aaron Lyons and the Western New York Flash. Seattle pinned in their own half. Having a hard time approaching midfield. Pressured from Nick. Little now knocked off the ball by Dahlkemper. Taylor to Nick. Hard tackle, middle of the field. Seattle coming with Foxhoven on the counterattack. Little making a run. Good tackle there from Hinkle. Flash will come back the other way. Long ball looking for Spencer. The header as Spencer goes down along with Cox. And Koppmeyer will play it on the ground on the near side to Corsi. Pace starting to pick up just a little bit here. Corsi, the Scottish international, the vice captain of the national team, played it back to Koppmeyer. Goes outside to Barnes. Now Winters. Again, Flash doing a good job. And look at Fishlock, forced to retreat that deep to receive the ball. And it's a good long ball. Can Little keep it in play? Nope, she'll run out of space. In the 25th minute, scoreless between Western New York and Seattle.
Yeah, it's a brilliant ball by Fishlock, and that's the role that we're used to seeing Fishlock play, in that defensive midfield role where she's constantly just winning balls in the center of the park, and that's you may see her drift back in there when Rapinoe comes back. I mean, Keelan Winters and Bullock are doing such a great job in that defensive midfield position. Allows Jess Fishlock to get more into the attack, and she's so dangerous going forward. So you got Fishlock and Little going forward, and Yanez, add Rapinoe to that mix. Dangerous, dangerous team.
These two teams have met 7 times. Seattle 4-1-2 leading the all-time series, and in that series, Fishlock has been one of the more outstanding players. Very entertaining to watch.
just a workhorse for 90 minutes. There's no reason to ever take her off the field because she's got the lung capacity to run 120 minutes. You get into the playoffs, she's going to be able to make it the entire game every single time.
Jones, long ball, far side, Spencer. Battles there with Cox. Spencer gets away from the first defender. Barnes comes over. And Spencer's high cross, nobody on the end of it. And out of play, throwing coming up here for the Flash.
You talk about that impact of the rookies on this team. You've got Dahlkemper, number 3, Mewis, number 4, Williams, number 6, Hinkle, number 7, all in the college draft this year. 3, 4, 6, and 7. What great pickups by Aaron Lyons. And they're all impactful this season for this Western New York Flash team. And then you got Jemiah Fields, who was number 14 in the draft, who got injured last game. She would have been on the pitch tonight. 5 college draft picks. So Aaron Lyons is definitely utilizing his college draft picks this year.
In the first game at Seattle on April the 12th, 7 Flash players made their pro debut in that 5-1 loss, but they have quickly learned the professional game, and as Mike says, huge impact by the youngsters.
And it does take some time, and this is definitely one of those rebuilding years, but you start looking at the table right now, and the Western New York Flash are tied for 4th place with the Houston Dash. It's time. Can you possibly make a run for it? Pick up some players who just showed really well in the World Cup. You may see some new stuff come in the coming weeks with Aaron Lyons on this Flash team, and you can make a run for it for the playoffs. You're in a great position coming out of this World Cup gap that the NWSL had, and now it's time to make a run for it.
Yeah, the Women's World Cup, a wonderful opportunity for coaches across the NWSL to take a look at some fresh and new talent.
And the Seattle Reign team didn't have to do that. You look at all the players on the field, there's not one rookie on that field. You've got all experience, everyone's got experience on that field right now, and you've got rookies for the Western New York Flash who just had 6, 7 games playing at this level against teams that have the experience like the Seattle Reign, and they're learning quickly that in order to compete, they got to play, and they got to play tough.
And there is a tough stand there by Edwards against Winters. Here's Williams. Nick. Flash on the near side with Hinkle. Looks, serves. Up and over the head. The shot deflected by Williams, and Kopmeyer's got a backpedal on that one. She was leaning right, had to quickly go left and make the save.
And Hinkle just getting into the attack. She's been pinging some great balls into that 18. Dangerous services. Williams sitting at the top. And this Western New York Flash team is not allowing the Seattle Reign team to play at all. And you haven't seen Cox or Fletcher get into the attack as much as you've seen in the past.
Taylor driving one forward. Corsi will settle it. Gets it back from Bullock. Yanez, quick touch. Taylor pressures and wins. High clearance from Hinkle, headed away by the Reign defense. Nick has been a physical presence, knocking Winters off the ball, has it back. And she's pickpocketed there by Foxhoven. Now Yanez. Down the near side, flag comes up. It's Fishlock who's behind the Flash defense. And a restart coming up for Western New York. 4-4-1 on the season at home. Western New York 3-1. And 1-3-1 away from home, as Mike mentioned. Sunday at Boston, their first road win. As Hinkle's low ball sent forward. Looking for Williams. Doesn't find her. Winters to Yanez. Fishlock. Quick touch taken away by Nick. Mewis. Spencer.
And now's the time to get that ball in the box. You got Mewis and Becky Edwards in the 18. And this time you didn't get a good cross off, where earlier you're getting crosses in there on the build-up.
The header from Mewis, and does a good job to fight for space against Corsi. Just wide of the net.
Make sure those crosses count, particularly when you got your big dogs in there, in Becky Edwards and Mewis. And here's a cross by Eddie. Eddie floats it versus driving it. Not much she could have done with that, but she got it in there. Mewis puts a lot of power on that, considering the ball was floating in the air. Unfortunately, she doesn't get it on frame.
Kottmeyer will go across the 18 to the far side, where Barnes will pick it up. Foxhoven pressured there, and foul called. Flash were coming away with it, but referee decided to make the call instead. Eddie leaves it there for Dahlkemper. 10th appearance of the season for Dahlkemper. The 22-year-old leaves it now for Taylor.
I was just going to say, is Dahlkemper going to take this? Have they found something that Brittany Taylor can't provide? And eventually, Brittany Taylor does go over because she just drive a great ball into the 18.
And she plays it short. Now she will get it outside to Eddie. Little chip into the box, cleared away by Barnes. Eddie with 2 goals and 1 assist in 4 games played, hustling back on defense.
Yeah, and at that point, I don't know what the purpose of playing that short ball there. Actually put you in more of a disadvantage.
A little too much heat on that one from Fishlock, looking for Bullock.
You've got Edwards, Mewis, Spencer in the box. You got to put that ball into the 18, Brittany Taylor.
Hinkle looking for Williams. Settles it. Serves. And again, far side, no one on the end of it. Winters. Good step and a good win from Nick. Gets it to Williams. Fires, blocked by Bullock. Yanez spins. And Seattle will have possession deep in their own half. Back to Kottmeyer. The University of Michigan product goes outside to Barnes. Seattle just not going forward. All the channels, all the lanes closed down. They'll try Barnes again. The flash defense will shift. And Barnes looking around. Little has a little bit of space here. As that closes down, forcing a bad pass picked up by Edwards.
And you could see, as soon as the ball starts to go to the center of the park, you could see how the Western New York Flash just converged, not allowing the Reign to really put the ball through there. And really, if the Reign start bypassing that midfield, they're going to have to play a different game that they're used to. They're trying to get it through the center of the park, which is the right thing to do, but the Flash are just closing it down so quickly.
And they win another one. Spencer to Eddie. Mewis is trying to get into space for Williams. Not going to work, but yeah, defensively it has been a solid performance by Western New York. And I don't frustrated Seattle.
Yeah, and I don't believe Laura Harvey has sat down since the first few minutes of this game.
High pressure from Spencer in the flash. Up and over Spencer. Outside, it's Cox. First bit of space that she's found on the far side tonight. She's into the flash half for Little. Now Winters. Cox. Yanez. Battles with Dahlkemper. Eddie comes in to knock it out of play, and the throw-in coming up for Seattle. 35th minute and scoreless. Yanez looking to turn, can't, poked away and off of Cox. It'll be a throw-in for the Flash. Congratulations to Crystal Dunn of the Washington Spirit. Scored the only goal for the Spirit to earn a 1-0 win at home over the Houston Dash. done with 7 goals in 10 games played. And we've seen her earlier this season when Washington came to town. And that was May 23rd. Thought she was outstanding.
She's got that explosiveness that Sydney Leroux's got. And she was one of those surprises that was left off of the U.S. Women's National Team roster. That roster's deep, and I've said it several times that if you take the second team and the third team from the U.S. team, they'd be able to compete in that World Cup. But you know, there are some players that are in this league that they're definitely going to be competing in 2019.
July 5th, USA-Japan. Mike, what are you thinking about that one?
I think that the way that the U.S. team played in Montreal was just, I mean, tremendous. And we'll talk about
that in a second.
Yeah.
Foxhoven coming into the 18, looking for Fishlock. Knocked away by Dahlkemper. First corner kick coming up for Seattle. It'll be on the near side in 37th minute.
And this will be most likely Stephanie Cox taking it from this left side with the in-swinger. You'll see that her and Little go out for every single corner kick together. Little will be out there. And right now, you see that now the Western New York Flash are bringing 2 players out there. And here's Foxhoven slipping that ball in to the very mobile Fishlock. And Dahlkemper there not allowing it to happen.
It's Cox with Little nearby. 37th minute. First Seattle corner kick. Chipped into the box. Jones at the 6. Reaches up, makes the quick save, and rolls it out to Williams. She's got the Jets. Takes a couple touches forward. Little chasing her down. They continue to battle for it. It's still Williams just outside the 18. Looking for Spencer, but Barnes comes away with it for Seattle.
Barnes took that away. So calm, cool, and collected. She knew she was on it. And here's another counter.
Yanez was in against Jones. Just couldn't get a foot on it.
You know, Joe, if this wasn't turf, I think Yanez would have had that ball. And that would have been that counter attack, that double counter right there would have really been right back in the face of the Western New York Flash. Great run by Williams. Great tracking by Kim Little. Staying with it the entire way. Trying to slow Williams down, and she did just a little bit. Spencer stayed with the play. Just had to connect there, but Barnes is calm, cool, and collected. Took it right out of off the 18. Switched the point of attack for the counter attack.
Here's Yanez. She's got some space. Plays it outside to Bullock. She was closed down quickly by Frisbee. Now it's Cox. Little. The Golden Boot winner with 17 goals last season. Kim Little showed a nice burst of speed as well to keep up with Williams.
Sure did.
Here's Mewis. Gets it back. Eddie on the outside. Looks, delivers. And no one there again on the end of that cross, but cleared away. Corner kick coming up for the Flash. 4th one of the game. It's going to be Edwards over to take it, the 27-year-old.
And that rookie, Mewis, she is just really controlling the center of the park. And, I mean, she's the one who's switching the point of attack. And against all that experience in the midfield, Mewis, I believe, is winning a lot of it.
Edwards, the delivery. The header by Mewis. In front and knocked out of play. Another corner kick coming up for the Flash. There were bodies all over the place.
Here's that corner kick again. Nice ball by Becky Edwards, and Mewis with the winner. Blocked again by the rain.
Flash will do it again with Edwards.
Good mobility by the Flash on every single corner kick, putting it right at the top of the 6, out of the reach.
Eddie, the one-timer, and on the one hop, Kopmeyer makes no mistake.
Putting it out of the reach of Kopmeyer every time. Great balls by Becky Edwards tonight.
Long, booming kick from Haley Kopmeyer. Dahlkemper playing it back to Jones. Fishlock coming in Forcing the quick clearance to Edwards, and that's off her hand. And a restart coming up here for Seattle. 41st minute, Little, along with Cox. Taking a look at this restart. 2 in the wall for Chantel Jones' defense. Wall backs up. There's the whistle. The delivery from Cox, a high, deep one. Headed down at the 6 and cleared away by Dahlkemper. Cox puts it forward again. Flicked on, no one behind, but Chantel Jones. And she'll slow things down in the 42nd minute. These two teams again in Seattle next Saturday, July the 11th. Third and final meeting of the regular season. Near side, Hinkle. Can't keep it in play. Touch coming from Taylor. Fletcher's quick throw and looking for Little. She'll be one-on-one with Taylor. Squares up. Takes a few touches central, plays it behind Fishlock. And Dahlkemper gets it forward, looking for Williams. Seattle puts it back into the flash half. And Nick cleans it up back to Chantel Jones.
Flash doing a great job today with their always having cover. When there's a player that's pressuring one of the Reign, there's always someone in cover, and they're not allowing the Reign to get that 1v1 situation. As you saw there, Kim Little and Brittany Taylor, 1v1, Kim Little got the ball, and Taylor just stuck with her, but even when she tried to split somebody, Dahlkemper was right there to cover it.
There's Taylor. Hinkle. Serves into the box, looking for Spencer. Taken away though, Yanez. Good backtracking by Williams. Gets it to Eddie. Now Williams splitting 2 defenders. The shot up and off the mark in the 43rd minute.
And Williams, man, she's a player. She's claiming her stake to keep that starting job when the players from the World Cup come here. And she look at the work rate. She wins the ball, comes back, chases down Yanez, and then she gets it back here. And now she splits Yanez and Cox right through the middle and gets a shot, tries to get a shot on goal. Great work rate by Williams. I mean, she had Yanez, our highlighted player of the game, and a U.S. national team players in Stephanie Cox. Great stuff by Williams.
There's Bullock on the near side, looking for Fletcher. Goes back to Corsi.
And let's face it, Stephanie Cox, there'd be a good chance that she'd be on that national team. She took a year off, for the birth of her child. She's been on the U.S. national team since 2005. And Williams just went right by her like she wasn't even there.
Williams is just growing in confidence. The rookie out of Pepperdine University. She has found herself in so many great goal-scoring situations. And hopefully with a little more experience, those turn into goals. Opportunities have been there. Fletcher's pass, not off the right trajectory for Bullock, and intercepted by the Flash in the 45th minute. Hinkle. Back to Taylor. Now Dahlkemper.
And the work rate of the Flash right now is the Reign are not able, they're staying so compact in that midfield, it's not allowing the Reign to find any gaps. And the Flash are really playing a great defensive match, but also countering and getting to the attack.
Hinkle, low delivery into the box. Williams gets a touch on it, but Koppmeyer ends up with the ball in the 45th minute. 1 minute of stoppage time. And we are scoreless at Sahlen Stadium.
Another good opportunity for the Flash there. Frisbee and Hinkle, great nonverbal communication. Frisbee knowing exactly where Hinkle is at that time. Playing her perfect ball for Hinkle to one-time it across.
Shots in favor of Western New York, 9-0.
How about corners?
5-1 in favor of the ladies in red.
That's usually a true indication of who's taking it to who.
Hinkle to Williams. Tried to lay it off there from Mewis, but taken away by Seattle. Fletcher. Spinning, cannot go forward, has to go back to Corsi.
And you just, if you're Aaron Lines, you want your team to be able to keep that work rate up for another 45 minutes.
And that will bring the first half to a close. Western New York and Seattle are scoreless after 45 minutes of play. We'll take a halftime break and come back with your second half kickoff. This is Western New York Flash Soccer on the Flash Broadcast Network.
He said, "Amy, you have cancer." And I remember the room kind of getting dark. All I could picture were my children. Nothing else mattered. I understand the immediate need to take the cancer away, but you want to make sure that you're choosing the absolute best group of doctors to do that. If someone you love hears it's cancer, please ask them to spend just one day with us.
Great Taste has landed. Sahlen's great tasting hot dogs and deli meats now available across New York State.
Your mornings rock.
You think your mornings are crazy? Look who I have to work with every day.
16 years with you, and you're not gorgeous.
But it's fun.
I'm a young guy in my 20s. I live in the city of Rochester, and you usually catch me in the East End between here and here.
A wise man once told me, if it smells like garbage plate, eat it.
Make the switch to the all-new Breakfast Buzz with Spasano and Sandy and all kinds of rock all day on 98.9 The Buzz.
The Radio Press Box with Scott Petoniak and Dan Borello.
As a Bills fan, I don't know about you, Scott. It bothers me because, hey, that's what we're known for. Snow and being obnoxious.
I just don't understand why a person will get totally schnockered to the point, Dan, where the next day they won't even be able to tell you if Jack Kemp or E.J. Manuel is at quarterback. I mean,
weekday afternoons from 3 to 7.
Sports sounds better here.
95.7 ESPN.
Second half action about to begin as you recap some numbers from half number one. Western New York outshooting Seattle 9-0. Corner kicks, they earned 5 to Seattle's 1. As we begin half number two, no changes for either side. Mike, your thoughts on the first half?
The experience right now is not raining. Well, is not raining over the New York the inexperience of the New York Flash, and the grit that the Flash played with in the first half was just tremendous. I mean, they closed down the midfield. They kept everything compact on defense, and then they exploded out real quick and really took over on counter and a lot of counterattacks. The Reign they haven't been able to keep possession of the ball as they like to, and you can see they're a very possession-oriented team. They keep a little possession, but as soon as they move into the middle and try to migrate into the attacking third, the Flash are just closing down so quickly, not allowing the Reign to play their game. And then the Flash, they've been keeping some pretty good possession, but really playing a little bit of a counter-attack game and getting into the attack, playing into the attacking third, their defensive third of the Seattle Reign, and playing in their half versus trying to play the game in their own half.
Seattle will have the kickoff. They'll be attacking from right to left. It's Little, goes back to Cox. They'll work the far side on a long ball. That goes out of play, and a throw-in coming up for Hinkle, who you talked about her during the break. A pretty good first half.
Best first half that I've seen her play this year, and just all up and down the field, some great crosses, and she's really been the difference maker for the Western New York Flash on that left-hand side, because she's been getting up and down and creating opportunities and allowing the forwards to get in the box. I mean, there's been other players as well, but I'm really, really impressed by Hinkle in the first half.
Bullock, no favors there for her as Winters a soft pass back. She had to work to keep possession of that one. As Seattle has it on the far side. Seattle 1-2-1 away from home, 4-0-1 on home turf. They've scored 19 goals. That's the most this season in the NWSL, and given up 10. That is tied for the fewest with several clubs, Chicago, FC Kansas City, and Portland. Chicago currently leading the league with 18 points. Seattle and Washington right behind them with 17. As Seattle has possession now, and they'll give up a throw into the Flash. Hinkle looking for Williams.
Yeah, you talk about the top of the table there, and the surprise for me there is that FC Kansas City is nowhere to be found up there, and they're towards the bottom of the table right now, and I think they've been hit the hardest with the World Cup gap here, and they've lost 4 players, and other teams have lost a bunch of players, but they've lost 4 players to the U.S. national team, and those 4 players are very impactful, and I don't think FC Kansas City has done a great job during this World Cup time frame.
Well, after Sunday, everyone's back, and then as you mentioned, maybe some others as well coming into the NWSL. As Frisbee coming forward for the Flash. Tries to push it into the 18. Corsi stands her up. Plays it back to Koppmeyer. Sends it forward now for Foxhoven. Little. Yana is in way behind the defense, and a good choice there by Little to not play it to that space. Winters.
Of course, see some good defense there earlier, and Laura Harvey said, hey, I brought Kim Little in year 1. She was player of the year. Let me bring in Corsi from the Scotland national team as well. She's got 70 caps with the Scottish national team. And maybe she could be defender of the year. So Laura Harvey really going outside and bringing in players that she feels will be a good fit. I'm sure it's a great fit with Kim Little.
The numbers have shown that. Only 10 goals against for Seattle.
Yeah, what a great back line there. Corsi and Barnes in the middle with Fletcher and Cox on the outside. And Fletcher and Cox, they haven't been able to get forward as much, but you watch Stephanie Cox, she gets forward, she hits.
Dangerous ball, Little is in, top of the 18. Jones gets there first.
Oh, and you saw Chantel Jones hesitate there for 1 second. That ball took that second bounce and really came to the advantage of Chantel Jones, but that was a little nerve-wracking for a second there for Aaron Lyons, I'm sure.
And how about the touch from Fishlock?
Here's a nice little ball by Fishlock to Kim Little. But as we were talking earlier, you see Stephanie Cox, she gets forward, and Fletcher as well, but Stephanie Cox can ping just a great diagonal ball, switch that point of attack so quickly through the middle third. She has not been able to do that in the first half here in Rochester, New York.
50th minute and scoreless. I'm Joe Giuliano along with Mike Kerms. Hope you're enjoying our coverage of NWSL soccer. And speaking of coverage, the NWSL and Fox Sports have announced a national broadcast deal. They'll carry 7 regular season games plus the 2 semifinal matches and the championship game on Thursday, October 1st. So good publicity coming for the NWSL on Fox Sports 1. And Mike, I just checked my schedule. I am available for all of those games. I think you are as well.
I'm very available as well. And all those games are in Portland and Houston. Portland, for obvious reasons, averaging 14,000 fans per game this year. And Houston having a good showing as well, the 3rd in the league behind Chicago with 4,400 fans, Chicago with 5,400.
Seattle will feature twice on the national broadcasts, at Portland and at Houston. Here's Little. Touches it outside and over the end line. A goal kick coming up for Chantel Jones. Western New York Flash, unfortunately not part of the Fox package this season, unless they make it to the semis or maybe in the final.
Interesting enough, the Western New York Flash do have to make it to the playoffs in order to be in there. They are the only team not to be shown on Fox this year. I wonder how Aaron Lyons felt about that.
Could be some motivation.
I'm sure it is. Just another piece, anything that you can use to motivate your players and give them an extra, give them that grit that they've got right now that, hey, the league doesn't even believe that we're a competitor just based on the games that they're showing this year. Guys, take a look at this. You're not going to get your opportunity on Fox. Give that team a little bit of motivation. I'm sure if I heard that in the locker room, I'd be like, all right, let's prove them all wrong.
Well, you've had those motivational situations when you played for the Rochester Rhinos, and you guys were the underdogs, especially in that 1999 Open Cup run when you knocked off, 4 MLS teams?
Yeah, we sure did.
To shock the world or shock the U.S.
Yeah, and Coach Pat Erkley always came in with little motivational things about why we should be, why we can compete in the MLS, and just kept saying why we have to go out there and prove it, and we did. So.
And the Flash will have a chance to prove that as well, as they look to climb up the standings and pick up a win here tonight against Seattle. Williams couldn't keep possession. Winters spinning away from Mewis. Gets it outside to Foxhoven. Seattle with possession, slowly working it forward. It's Little. Knocked away by the Flash. Here's Spencer. Williams on the diagonal run. Into the 18. The shot just wide of the far post. Good run, good delivery. The shot off the mark in the 53rd minute.
And those are those quick counters I've been talking about. Kim Little tries to strike a ball. Beverly Yanez was wide open on the left-hand side and thought she was through. And she doesn't get that ball through right there. And here's that quick counter attack right here, and a great run by Williams, that great diagonal run. She looks, she sees that far post open, just doesn't get the shot that she would have liked.
53rd minute, a good opportunity for Williams, and a nice setup there from Spencer. And now it's Fishlock coming the other way for Seattle. Dahlkemper heads it back to the middle of the field. Edwards now on the near side. Eddie. No one there but Winters. Cox. Blocked by Spencer. As that hit her right ankle. She is slow to get up. Referee will slow things down. As Spencer, the 24-year-old, spent the offseason in Sydney. Their player of the year in the W League. Player of the year for the club, that is. Here's Little. Good ball, looking to get Fishlock in. She's in. Fishlock is tripped up, and the referee points to the spot. A PK has been awarded to the Seattle Reign in the 54th minute.
And just like that, right from the throw-in, the Western New York Flash just sitting back a little bit too far. No one on Bullock here. And then Kim Little does what she does best. And then Fishlock does what she does best. Steals the ball from Hinkle, who I just said was having a great game. I was just about to talk about Dahlkemper, how she's been coming through in this league like an experienced center back.
Little on the PK spot. Waits for the whistle. Winds, fires, goal! Little scores on the PK, picking up her 4th of the season, and she's now scored in each of the last 4 games for the Seattle Reign. 55th minute, Seattle on the PK takes the 1-0 lead.
And that's what the Reign really needed at this point, is they needed something because the Flash were all over them. And here's Kim Little just making it look so easy. Chantel Jones doesn't read it right, thinks it's going to the left. Well, her right. But Kim Little makes it look so easy. And they just, the Flashes have to keep playing their game. And Dahlkemper has been having a great season, playing like an experienced center back. Nothing she could have done. She just got tangled up there with Jess Fishlock.
Now it's Williams. Little chip up and over Koppmeyer, but it doesn't swerve in enough to get on the Seattle goal. 56th minute. It's 1-0 Seattle. Little with the goal on the PK. She's now scored in 4 straight games, and she's got 4 goals, 4 assists on the season. And she makes no mistake with that one. So for Western New York, there was always that talk about scoring that first goal. They're 4-0-0 when they score the first goal. Now we'll see how they respond, as they have scored the opening goal in 3 of their last 4 games. Bullock. Cox looking for Little. Unable to keep that one in play. Here's a look at that last series of plays.
Yeah, you could see Bullock and Becky Edwards all alone there trying to mark the two attackers, and Kim Little does her thing here. And right here, when that ball gets to Hinkle, Hinkle gets on that ball. She takes that extra touch inside, just lets it a little bit too far in front of her. And I think and you could see that Dahlkemper and Fishlock got tangled up. It's an unfortunate PK. Dahlkemper didn't mean to take her down, but Hinkle's got to just one time that out of the 18. That was one time Hinkle, who's been having a fantastic game. That could be her one mistake, and it could be the game decider. As we talked about, the team that scores first is going to be pivotal in this game.
Here's Little, pressured by Eddie. And spins away. Good work from the Scottish international, and she is fouled there by Elizabeth Eddy. And a restart coming up for Seattle in the 58th minute. Shots 11-1 in favor of the Western New York Flash. Corner kicks 5-1. And as you had mentioned, that's usually an indicator of which team may have the lead, but not tonight. A PK, the difference maker so far. Little service through the mix, and goal kick coming up here for Western New York. 2 other games tonight in the NWSL. Washington is at FC KC, and Sky Blue at Providence Park to take on the Portland Thorns. Loose ball picked up by Frisbee, gets it to Mewis.
And it'd be interesting to see if Aaron Lyons changes anything up. If it's me, I wouldn't. You've been taking it to this team. Just one defensive breakdown has caused that goal, and you've been really taking it to the Reign. So keep playing your system, keep playing your style, keep going with your style of play. Don't change anything. There's plenty of time in this game.
We're in the 59th minute. A long ball looking for Spencer. She's into the 18. Takes a touch. Lays it off. The one-time shot. Swerving wide of the far post. As Kottmeyer may have had a good look at it the whole way.
Yeah, but Becky Edwards, if she would have gotten that lower corner, she put just a little bit too much Beckham on it, as I would say. You know, and it's a great diagonal run here by Spencer. Great long ball. Spencer looks up. Becky Edwards is screaming for it. Exactly does what she had to do and put that ball one time, and she looks to that lower corner.
Goal kick here for Seattle, as they will go to the bench in the 60th minute. The next stoppage will bring Kirsten Dahlstrom onto the pitch.
Yeah, and we saw Foxhoven come out at halftime, and she was trying to work her ankle, calf area, just some soreness. And you see in this first 15 minutes of this second half, she's been really non-existent. Could have something to do with that left ankle that she's been having a little bit of a problem with.
And with this stoppage, they will make their first change of the game, that being the Seattle Reign. It's Kirsten Dahlstrom coming on for number 18, Danielle Foxhoven. This is in the 61st minute. Dahlstrom's 6th appearance of the season. He's also played for Sky Blue and the Boston Breakers.
Plenty of experience in the NWSL. 40 games in the NWSL for Dahlstrom, and you could see Foxhoven just injured just a little bit, trying to walk it off. And
referee plays the advantage. Good call. No reason to stop it. Dahlkemper in the flash had possession.
You know, you think about it though. You know, keep
Could
playing
be a
the
restart.
advantage. What's the advantage? You were
Right.
going forward.
Spencer's cross for Williams. Chases it down far side of the 18.
If they score here, it's a great call.
Williams double teamed. Fishlock comes in and takes it away. Williams says, no, I'm not done yet. Nick. Picked away Little, turning on the Jets as well as she crosses midfield. Poked away nicely by Frisbee. And it's played back to Chantel Jones.
It's good work right there by Amanda Frisbee coming back to make that tackle.
Seattle, though, coming the other way. Fishlock keeps this one in play. The one-time cross into the mix. Jones gets there before anyone and quickly plays it forward to Mewis.
What a great ball. Definitely on.
And the flash pushing some numbers forward. Williams, Spencer in the box. Frisbee still with it. And Corsi clears it away. Crowd wanted a call. Not going to get it.
Yeah, and here's Amanda Frisbee. She does a nice little move. That's a handball by Frisbee, and then she megs her. And then I think that's a foul. I mean, that's an indirect kick. It wouldn't be a direct kick, but that's an indirect kick.
First change of the game coming up for the Western New York Flash, 63rd minute. Amanda Frisbee coming off, and Ajara Shoot Joya, the Cameroonian. Now coming out in the 63rd minute for Joya. This will be her 3rd appearance of the season after returning from the 2015 Women's World Cup.
And that 22-year-old got herself a World Cup goal as well, and I'm sure she's got to be excited about that.
Congratulations to her as she'll look to get the flash back into this one in the 64th minute. Looking for Joya, headed away though by Corsi. Picked up by Mewis. Edwards. Onto the near side for Spencer. Cuts it to her left. Serves it to Mewis. Turns and the soft shot. Easy save there for Kottmeyer in the 64th minute. Western New York trailing 1-0. Fishlock. Looking to go to Yanez, and off of her foot. Quick throw in taken by Dahlkemper. Both teams making one change so far. Around the 1 hour mark. 2 left for both sides. Hinkle, good move. Gets away from Foxhoven. Goes outside to Joya, her first touch. And Dahlstream comes in to win it back for Seattle. Winters. All the way upfield, no one there but Taylor for Western New York. Looking for Joya. Kendall Fletcher lets that roll out of play. It'll be a goal kick coming up here for the Seattle Reign. The original Seattle Reign, a professional basketball team that used to play in the American Basketball League. So nice little honor to a former professional sports team in the great city of Seattle. As I'm sure the fans very happy with this 65-minute mark of a 1-0 Seattle lead. Dahlkemper and the Flash looking to get back into it with Taylor now. She'll take it to the far side. Joya. Edwards with some space. Eddie coming into the mix as well. Low cross. Knocked away. Mewis battles with Little. Winters comes in to help out. Intercepted by Eddie. Flash could be onto something here. Nope. Broken up. Sent forward to Fishlock. Fishlock gets it again.
And that's just what she's got. You can't hesitate when just Fishlock is around. She's just relentless going after every single ball, and you just saw that there with Eddie. She did it earlier with Hinkle.
Fishlock, 28 years old, the Welsh international. She is a dynamite player, so entertaining to watch. And, you know, the PK call that she earned won't show up on the score sheet, but she does so many great things off the ball. Such an entertaining player to watch. Always enjoy when Seattle comes to town and she's playing.
Yeah, and it's a shame the world doesn't get to see her. And it's unfortunate she plays for her national team as well. It's not for her. I'm sure she's got a lot of pride for that, but it'd be nice to see her playing with a team that can compete at the world stage.
Here's a chance for Spencer. Looking for Williams, but Corsi has been in good position all night long. Makes another good defensive play.
Amanda Frisbee had a great game tonight. Just unfortunately, she comes off at a time when they're down. You just saw her. She was still tracking back, chasing down. And this is what the Flash don't want, to allow the ball to be taking, the air to be taken out of the ball and the range to start settling it down. You can see here, they're more than happy to just knock it around their back four. Flash are sitting back. They do have plenty of time, but there's got to be a little bit more urgency. I'd say at the 70th minute, you got to start chasing some things.
Barnes to Cox. Dahlstream. Pass is picked off by Edwards. Here's Williams. Some space and time on the near side. Chips into the box. Joya gets the shot away, blocked. Has the rebound. Another shot deflected, and Kopmeyer will keep this one in play.
And Joya, she's a forward through and through. She should have laid that ball back, possibly to Spencer. It's a nice little run here. It's a nice run by Williams up the sideline. Great cross. Joya tries to one-time it. She gets the ball back. Right there is where she should have laid it back to Spencer. Instead, she gets the shot off. Joya, who played in the World Cup, as we stated earlier, Cameroon, made it to the round of 16 where they lost to China, who the U.S. eventually beat.
How about the run that former Flash player Carly Lloyd has been having?
3 goals in the last 3 games. Do you see that excitement she had in front of 51,000 fans in Montreal on that penalty kick. And, you know, some people were saying that I've talked to, some non-soccer people, just saying, hey, she loses the ball so much. I'm like, listen, I watched her play. She makes things happen off the ball that you don't see. And finally, she started making some things happen on the ball. Even when I was in Montreal for that game, and people were in the stands complaining about Carly Lloyd losing the ball. I'm like, just watch what she does during the match, and she just makes things happen on and off the ball.
That has always been the case with Carly Lloyd. She's got her detractors, no doubt about it, but she is one tough competitor and doing a fantastic job at that World Cup. As Spencer into the box. Headed away by the Seattle defense. Little coming forward now. Gets around Nick, still Little. Fishlock making the run, gets the ball. Hinkle marking her. One-on-one, Hinkle and Fishlock. Taylor comes in to help out, and Hinkle comes away with the ball. Good teamwork there by the Flash defense.
I'm sure Hinkle was sitting there going, where's my double team? Where's my double team? Finally, Taylor got there. Holding that player off, she was able to free up, and there's that pressure cover that's going on there.
Here's Spencer. Some gaps starting to open up here. Eddie's wide open, gets it on the near side. Cox marking her. Eddie works into the 18 and dribbles it out of play. Goal kick here for the Seattle Reign, as Hamilton will be coming on for Western New York. She'll replace Ashley Nick. But before that, it'll be Ellie Reed coming on and replacing Beverly Yanez in the 71st minute. Second substitution for Seattle, and second substitution as well for the Western New York Flash.
So Aaron Lyons knows he's got to start going after it a little bit. He moves, he goes into his, what we've seen plenty of times, that 4-3-3, moving Spencer into that attacking midfield role. Hamilton up top, so you got Hamilton, Joya, Williams still at that center striker position. Those three up top. Spencer and Mewis at the attacking midfield role, and Becky Edwards in that defensive midfield role.
72nd minute, Kottmeyer's goal kick headed forward by Cox. Winters gets knocked into by Edwards, and Keelan Winters, the 26-year-old, goes down. She's the daughter of former NBA and WNBA coach Brian Winters. Here's a look at her last challenge.
Edwards just taking a little bit of a whack there on Winters.
Barnes to take it. Taylor lets it go through to Chantel Jones. 72nd minute. Shots, as far as the scoreboard shows, 14 for Western New York, 1 for Seattle. The score, though, is 1 Seattle, 0 Western New York. Winters called for that little shove against Spencer. Dangerous restart coming up for the Flash.
And that's about the same spot where we saw when the referee allowed advantage to go, and he allowed advantage and the Western New York Flash went backwards, but it's a situation where you get that free kick from here, and it's more of a dangerous situation. It was a handball on Keelan Winters. You want that call right there, and that actually was another foul on Keelan Winters, right? So you want that call there so you can get Mewis in the box, Taylor in the box, and have Becky Edwards float one in there and allow one of them to get on the end of it.
Edwards, 3 helpers on the season. Will she get another? Into the box. Punched away there by Kottmeyer. Little 1v2. Takes a touch to the outside. Slows it down. 74th minute, Seattle with a 1-0 lead. If you're just tuning in the 55th minute, Kim Little on the PK. Got her 4th goal of the season after Jess Fishlock was taken down in the box. Laura Harvey, the coach for Seattle, looking down the sideline and trying to put together that final piece for the substitutions. Here's Taylor. Edwards. Mewis. Joya.
Yeah, Joya, she scored that goal against Japan.
The service cleared to the top of the 18.
I'm sure Aaron Lyons would like to see her score one here. Unfortunately for Cameroon, they lost to Japan 2-1.
Williams flicks it into the box. Joya back to the goal for Mewis. Has to fight to keep possession and does. Hinkle. Around Little. Swerving ball. Eddie's cross. No one there for Western New York. And cleared away by Fletcher. Winters. Battles with Joya and Spencer. Seattle maintains possession. Fletcher. Looking to get Little in behind the defense. Read there by Hinkle. Williams outside to Joya. Couldn't connect with Spencer. Mewis will try it again. Winters. Seattle coming back with it the other way. Good job by Little just to keep possession. Dahlstream looking for Reed. Didn't have enough swerve on it to keep it away from Chantel Jones. Eddie looking to go forward. Barnes steps on the ball. Williams comes away with it. 76th minute, the cross into the box. And Fletcher will clear it before Joya gets there. Mewis.
And you see Williams getting into that attack so fast, and Joyer's just kind of, she was kind of just like drifting along, and she was just kind of jogging. That opposite side is so dangerous because the entire defense is watching the player with the ball. That ball, I mean, perfect example is the goal scored against Germany by Kelly O'Hara. Everyone was watching the cross from Carly Lloyd, and Kelly O'Hara is just screaming in as that opposite side midfielder and gets that touch on it.
Ball served into the box by Edwards, and no trouble there for Kopmeyer.
Joya's got to turn on the jets when that ball's on the opposite side, and she's got to start crashing as fast as possible, either far post or into the middle of the box.
77th minute, Winters. Cox can't keep that one in play. Throw in coming up for the Flash. These two teams again next week in Seattle at Memorial Stadium. Seattle winning the first game on April the 12th, 5-1. They've got a 1-0 lead here in the 77th. Edwards off of Ellie Reed, the 25-year-old, who came on in the 71st minute. Hamilton, a little hip check there on Winters. And she goes down. Free kick coming up here for Seattle. Bullock. Fishlock back to Bullock. Western New York will return home on Sunday, July the 19th. They'll take on Sky Blue. Midday soccer at 3 p.m. But now their focus on the last 13 minutes plus stoppage time. As Little jogs down to the far corner. She'll slowly knock it back to Fishlock. Touched back into an offside position where Little has the flag come up. And a restart coming up here for the Western New York Flash. I'd like to wish everyone watching tonight and listening a happy 4th of July. A safe and happy holiday to all, and also wish the U.S. women's team the best of luck on Sunday as they take on Japan. USA looking for their 3rd World Cup title. How about the defense of the U.S.? Not allowed a goal in 513 minutes.
Absolutely. Julie Johnson has been so impressive. Just amazing what she's done.
5 straight shutouts for the U.S. women.
I mean, saying that, and she was the one who drew that penalty kick against Germany, but again, you have a great game, you draw a penalty kick, everyone looks at that, but Julie Johnson's just been absolutely...
Yeah, there's so much more to it than that, I agree.
She's playing at a different level.
Here's Taylor in the 80th minute, the flash, looking to get that equalizer. Time winding down here. Spencer, a good little turn. She's held up as Williams comes away with it, though. And knocked out of play. Referee will point to a goal kick for Seattle.
I mean, I talk about Julie Johnson, but I mean, let's not forget, I mean, Allie Krieger on the right-hand side and Megan Klingenberg on the left-hand side, just tremendous. And Becky Sauerbrunn just solid. And you think about Julie Johnson came in and she took Christy Rampone's spot, the only player on the team who's actually won a World Cup back in 1999.
Hope Solo, oh, she's been awesome as well.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
Australia, the only team to score. That was in the opening match.
And I'm sure Rory Dames in the first place for Chicago Red Stars, although very happy that we have a chance to win the Women's World Cup. We're going to be very happy to get Julie Johnson back in that back line.
Here's Eddie working in the 18. Eddie keeps it in play through the mix. The shot and a goal! What a finish from Lynn Williams, but the work was all done by Elizabeth Eddy. In the 81st minute, Western New York has tied it.
Wow. And Eddy does it again. She's got a goal. Williams had a goal last game. Eddy had a goal last game. And now it's the Eddy-Williams connection. Great stuff by Eddy, and she got on the end of that, playing outside back, showing her versatility tonight and getting forward. Just some combination play. Hamilton to Edwards, knocking it outside, and Eddy gets the ball. Nice little move, and then a little bit of an explosion around her defender there. Nice little cross, and there's Lynn Williams just ready for the ball. Here's that little explosion right around Bullock. The good old put it on one side, run around the other. And there's Williams to finish. The sitter and the Flash are back in this game at 1-1 against a Reign team. And really, they've been dominating and giving up that penalty kick. I'm sure Laura Harvey's saying to herself, what do I do now? I've already made some subs.
And speaking of subs, they did make their third and final substitution as they brought on Amber Brooks. She replaces Bullock, and that's in the 82nd minute.
Amber Brooks, who was involved in that trade with Seattle for Abby Wambach's rights and bringing Sydney LaRue here. Yeah, can you imagine if they get Rapinoe and Hope Solo back, and all of a sudden Abby says, I want to play this year. Seattle's got the rights to her.
Lynn Williams, her third goal of the season in the 81st minute. But Elizabeth Eddy has just been outstanding. No matter what role she's been asked to play, she's done a very good job. Little coming forward for Seattle now. Good challenge there. Edwards and Hinkle win it back for Western New York. Joya. Edwards. Back outside to Joya. She should be fresh. Plays it into Williams.
You know, we talked about all the highlights of the players that got drafted in the college draft, and we keep forgetting that this is Eddy's first year as well. She was drafted by Sky Blue last season, and then she was a two-sport athlete at USC. So she decided to finish out her degree and play her final season. She had an extra season of lacrosse. She just finished playing lacrosse at USC, and now she's playing her first season really as a rookie in the NWSL.
Mewis, little spin move, takes possession back. Still Mewis. has a go, and it's right at Kottmeyer. 84th minute, Flash looking for the go-ahead goal now. 16 shots to 1 in favor of the home side.
Two hottest teams going at it here, 1-1, and you got actually the two hottest goalies in the league as well. The only two keepers in the league with with 4 or more games that have less than a goal against per game on average, goal against average.
Fishlock lays it off. Intercepted by Eddie. A little too heavy on the touch there. Hamilton couldn't keep possession. Cox gets it back from Winters. Dahlstream unable to settle that one down, and a goal kick coming up here for Western New York. They want the 3 points. They want to get to within 1 point of the Seattle Reign and the Washington Spirit, and 2 points of the first place Chicago Red Stars if the Flash can pick up all 3 tonight. Onto the near side, here's Eddie. Taken away by Reed, gets it to Winters. Dahlstream back to Winters. Now Fishlock. Spencer backtracks, wins it.
And you can see, I mean, that's something I do not see. I mean, she gave it away there, but you do not see from Jess Fishlock frustration. She lost the ball there, and she just stood up in frustration.
Spencer may have a little battle there. I think it was a good challenge against Fishlock, but referee has been good tonight, makes the call.
Just a little bit of a battle. And right here you could see that she probably just puts a little bit extra in there with her hip.
So the Flash getting a late equalizer in the 81st minute after the 55th minute PK goal by Kim Little. Williams comes back, but all the work was done by Eddie to set the table. Here's Mewis. All Williams had to do on that goal was sit down and eat, because everything was prepared beautifully by Eddie. It's like going to dinner at my mother's house. She does all the work, I sit down and eat. Great job by Elizabeth Eddy.
Do you at least do the dishes afterwards?
Are you kidding?
Come on, man.
Are you kidding? We're in the 87th minute. We are tied at 1, a good matchup as Kim Little battles Taylor on the far side. Little still with it. Taylor staying with her. Some contact, Little goes down and the ball goes out of play. It'll be a goal kick.
Great defense by Taylor.
Well, NWSL fans don't have to wait too long. These two teams will go at it again in 1 week from tomorrow. Be sure to check out all that action on YouTube.
You know, and you wonder, because back in 2011, the league gave a little bit of time for some of the U.S. World Cup players to come back. Give them a little bit of a break, because they've been going nonstop. I mean, a game every 4 days. That takes a toll on you. But there's a good possibility that Whitney Engen, Megan Rapinoe, Cindy LaRue, and Hope Solo will all be back for these two teams.
Yeah, Seattle on their website was promoting that's the return of Solo and Rapinoe.
It could be the return, but it may not be them actually playing. But,
good point.
You know, marketing versus actually
good
what
word.
actually happens.
Good word.
But, I mean, Whitney Engen, you know, unfortunately hasn't seen time at the World Cup. You could see her playing right away. Cindy LaRue, Hope Solo, and Megan Rapinoe obviously getting a lot more time.
There's Little swerving ball, and no trouble there for Chantel Jones as we hit the 89th minute. Picked up here by Fletcher.
Right there, that's a rare giveaway that we've seen tonight from Mewis. Usually very diligent with the ball, staying on top of it. Here she is again. Getting her chance again to give that ball to Joya.
Barnes stepping in front of Williams. Fishlock is on sides. Gets a touch off her hand. The referee's assistant helping out. making the call on the handball. Quick restart. Edwards. Mewis to Hinkle. Into the box. Barnes knocks it out of play.
Again, Hinkle just plays some nice balls, almost getting that one behind the back four. Hamilton crashing.
90th minute, Hinkle, or it's Taylor to Edwards. Flash will switch it onto the near side. Eddie, does she have some more magic left? She'll serve this one now. And knocked away to Winters. Ellie Reed. Still with it, Reed. She'll go outside to Dahlstream. Played back to Fletcher. Ooh, loose ball. Good interception by Mewis. Gets it to Williams. Williams, center of the field, top of the 18. The shot up and over the crossbar.
Williams, again, we talked about her in the first half, making her mark on this team. And she gets the ball around midfield and just starts taking it out. And they're giving her way too much space backing up. No one's getting tight. You've got pressure. Someone's got to get tight. Someone stays in that cover position. That's poor communication between Corsi and Barnes. Do not let Williams come at you like that. She's showed that she can be dangerous in this league with another goal tonight.
And this results in a corner kick for the Flash. Not sure if it was deflected or Kottmeyer got a piece of it. Edwards to take it. Into the box. Clear to the top of the 18. Still there. Inside the 6, the back heel. It was Taylor looking for the cheeky finish. That would have been a thing of beauty.
That would have been brilliant. Quick thinking by Brittany Taylor. Again, when you're in that 6-yard box, you try just about anything. And here's that corner kick. Seattle only sends one player out to mark the 2, and here's the ball. It drops inside the 6. You see Brittany Taylor right here trying the heel, and Kottmeyer right there. Probably unexpectedly just saw that ball coming and just got covered right on top of it.
2 minutes of stoppage time. A restart just inside their own half. It's Dahl Kemper, a 22-year-old out of UCLA, to step into this one. She'll deliver it forward into the 18. Headed up in the air. Cox, Fishlock. Little battles for it. Edwards has it for Western New York. Hinkle. Couldn't get some height on that one.
They got to keep the attack going now. As you start getting closer to that 2 minutes, you got to keep that ball into that attacking third so that ref doesn't blow that whistle.
There's Taylor posting up top of the 18. Hamilton shot. Oh, it's deflected just wide. Corner kick coming up for the Flash. 19 shots.
You love seeing at the end of the games Brittany Taylor getting into that attack, and she stays up there. And Eddie again putting another ball in there. And here's Brittany Taylor posting up. Spencer, and then a shot by Hamilton. Just deflected out wide. Again, the Reign only send one player out there. And they know why they're not going to give it to Joya. Send Joya back in the box. You're only pulling one player out.
There's the delivery. Eddie, shot. Doesn't get it to sit. And that will bring this one to a close. What a great 2 minutes of stoppage time as the Flash really brought it to the table. And this one ends in a 1-1 draw. Mike, good game, and it's going to be another great one next week in Seattle. 20 shots for the Flash, 1 for Seattle, but the score ends up even.
Unbelievable, and the Reign stay unbeaten in 7 games. And the Flash, 3-1. In the last 6 games, they've got 1 loss, 2 ties, and 3 wins. The Flash, the 2 hottest teams in the league, will face up again next week. What a great game. But look at that scoreboard, 20 shots to 1 against definitely the hottest team, what I feel is one of the best teams. I mean, other than Chicago, who played tremendous here a couple weeks ago. That was a 1-1 tie as well. just the Flash, just amazing what Aaron Lyons has done to get a lot of these young rookies involved and give them that experience to play confident and with a lot of grit. Just relentless tonight. Great game by the Flash.
Trailed after a 55-minute PK from Kim Little in the 81st minute. Lynn Williams, off of some great work from Elizabeth Eddy, tied it, and that's where this one ends at 1-1. Western New York now in Mike's favorite formation, the 4-4-2. That's their record. And Seattle goes to 5-2-3. Well, these two teams once again next week at Memorial Stadium on the Moda pitch. We'll go at it again for the third and final time of the regular season. Final score tonight from Sahlen Stadium. Western New York and Seattle deadlocked at 1. For Mike Kerms, Dennis, our producer, I'm Joe Giuliano saying so long from Sahlen Stadium.